This brief video is going to give you an overview of how to write a thesis statement for an argumentative paper. In the supplemental resources, I'll also provide a few other links and other things that you can take a look at if you want to read a little bit more about how to write an argumentative thesis statement. A thesis statement, though, is really helpful because it provides your reader with a preview of where the argument is going to go, where the paper is going to go. We use them in academic writing because it helps readers understand, again, where things are going to go, and readers can take a look at a thesis statement or a summary of your paper's argument, and they can make a decision about how much they need to read and how closely they need to read. If your paper provides additional information, stuff that they don't already know, typically readers are going to read for a little bit longer. Thesis statements are also really helpful to writers because it helps us stay on track. Sometimes when I teach academic writing, when I teach argumentative writing, and sometimes even for the things that I write, I'll take my thesis statement or a summary of what my paper is trying to do, and I'll put it in the header of a document so that it reminds me that this is what everything needs to tie back to. So thesis statements can be really helpful. In the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about the 4 components that a thesis statement should have for an argumentative essay. Let me switch screens and we'll show you how to do this on a Word document. A thesis statement should be focused on a particular topic, so you need a topic. That's the first component you need for a thesis statement. By this time in the class, you should have a focus topic that your paper addresses. It's either focused on a particular discussion in your major or a specific community you know. So for most of you, you should be good here. A thesis statement also needs a claim. It needs to be something that's debatable. Facts are not really debatable. You don't really have a claim if you write something like, over 97% of climate scientists have linked human activity to global climate change. That's not debatable. You can debate what can be done about that. You can debate different facets related to that fact, but a fact is a fact. An opinion or a preference also isn't a claim. If I were to say that the Alabama Crimson Tide is my favorite football team and they're so much better than the overrated Buckeyes of Ohio State University, that feels very true to me, but it's not really a claim. A claim is a debatable stance about a specific topic. A thesis statement also needs to hint at your supporting reasons. I sometimes call this the roadmap of a paper. That's what you would say after because in your thesis statement. For instance, to keep with the example that I've used in a few other videos, if I were to persuade SSU's administration to support a student support group, my supporting reasons are the answer to why I think the group should happen. So I might have something like this. SSU should support the creation of a support group of people impacted by addiction because the group would provide a low-cost way to create needed community for SSU students. It would help students process their emotions, and it would heal trauma that would improve student success and retention. Those reasons are the sections of your paper's argument. You would have a section about cost and feasibility, another about the importance of community for students impacted by addiction, a couple other sections about why processing emotions and healing trauma are so important. So the third component you need for a thesis statement are your reasons. Finally, your thesis statement should hint at the significance of your paper's argument. By the time we finish reading the introduction, your audience should know why your topic matters. You might hint at this in the thesis statement by noting what might happen if nothing changes or if your argument is just ignored. For the sample thesis statement I'm thinking of, I might note something like, due to the significant strains on students impacted by addiction, SSU should support the creation of a support group of people impacted by addiction, and would provide, and the reason why would be the reasons that I talked about just a little bit ago. The significance idea might be something your instructor will have thoughts on, so make sure you check in with them if you have questions here. But the significance kind of explains why this is such an important issue that readers need to care about. So here's that sample thesis statement with the different areas highlighted with the topic, claim, reasons, and significance. We begin with the significance. Due to the significant strains on students impacted by addiction, again, this is why people should care about this. SSU should support the creation of a support group. That's the thing that I'm arguing for. It's the claim that I'm trying to make. We could debate whether or not that's the right way to go. This is the argument that I'm going to put forward. This is the debate that I'm going to have. About what? This topic here. How do we help students that are impacted by addiction? That's the topic of the paper. And the claim about that topic is we should support the creation of a support group. or SSU should do that. And then the why. Why should we do it? It's what follows the because statement here, because the group would provide a low-cost way so it's feasible. It would create needed community for SSU students. It would help students process their emotions. It would heal trauma that would improve student success and retention. So a reader sees this typically at the end of an introduction after you've kind of set up the paper. You kind of explain where the paper is going to go when you get to the end of the introduction. A reader would take a look at this and say, okay, I know more or less where the paper is going, so I can decide which parts I really want to focus my attention on when I'm reading. So that's what a thesis statement would look like for an argumentative essay like the documented argument. You want to make sure that your argument and your paper's thesis statement is tailored to a specific audience. So your readers are going to understand the concepts and the terms that are referenced in the thesis statement. They're going to find that claim that you make persuasive, and they're going to find the supporting reasons compelling. If you're unsure about the thesis statement for your particular project, this will be a great topic to talk to an instructor about or to talk to a Writing Center tutor about. Down in the supplemental resources folder, I've also included a few links to some useful resources to learn a little bit more about thesis statements. That's it for now.